She was worth billions. She owned skyscrapers, flew in private jets, and was always 2 steps ahead of every corporate shark until one night she came home unannounced and froze on the spot. What she saw her janitor doing in her living room alone, unaware anyone was watching, completely shattered everything she thought she knew about loyalty, love, and herself. Before we dive into this unforgettable story of unexpected kindness and life-changing moments, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kind Heart Story, where real emotions meet powerful storytelling. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Uninvited. Return. Vanessa Lair was known across continents not just for being the youngest female billionaire in New York, but for being cold, sharp, and untouchable. The kind of CEO who didn't tolerate nonsense, who fired entire departments over a missed deadline, who lived alone in a glass mansion that overlooked the Hudson like a queen watching her empire. After a brutal 48-hour negotiation in Singapore, she told her staff she'd stay overseas for another week. But the jet lag, the headache, and a gnawing feeling in her chest made her cancel the rest of her trip and fly back quietly without telling anyone. Her limousine pulled into the long driveway. At midnight, the mansion was dark, except for a soft glow in the west wing. She entered silently, expecting to find nothing but stillness. But as she slipped off her heels and walked across the marble floor, faint music echoed from the lounge. It wasn't the classical strings she played during galas. It was an old record, playing a French lullaby. She narrowed her eyes and followed the sound. That's when she saw it. There in her living room, on the Persian rug her grandmother had gifted her, stood Ellis the janitor. Middle-aged, soft-spoken, always invisible. The man who swept floors while board meetings roared upstairs. The man she hadn't spoken more than 10 words to. He didn't see her. He had no idea she was home. Because in that moment, Elias wasn't cleaning. He was dancing slowly, swaying side to side, his arms gently rocking a little girl in his embrace, a child of no more than 4. She wore a faded pink dress, her eyes closed, cheek resting against his chest. Lips trembled as he whispered the lullaby along with the music. One hand stroking her hair, the other steadying her fragile back. Vanessa didn't move. Couldn't. Her mind raced. What was he doing here? Who was the child? But her body, her heart, it stood still. He finally turned and froze. Eyes widened when he saw her. He immediately lowered the girl to a pillow on the sofa, covered her gently, and stood straight, his hands shaking. "Miss Lair, I didn't know you were—" Iken explained. She didn't speak, just stared at him. "She's my granddaughter," he said, voice barely audible. "Her mama, my daughter, passed away last month. Cancer, and we lost the house last week. I didn't have anywhere to go. I've been sleeping in the maintenance room with her. I cleaned. I made sure nothing was touched upstairs. I just needed somewhere safe for her." Tears glistened in his eyes. Vanessa looked at the sleeping child, then back at the man who had swept her floors for 7 years, never once asked for anything. Suddenly she saw more than a janitor. She saw a grandfather clinging to hope. A man doing everything he could with nothing at all, and without realizing something cracked inside her. If this story is touching your heart already, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to Kind Heart Story. We've got more powerful stories coming your way. Vanessa didn't sleep that night. She sat in the hallway watching the child breathe peacefully. Her mansion felt different, warmer for once. Alive. It reminded her of something she thought she'd buried years ago. A memory. She was 5. Her father had lost his job. They had nowhere to go. It was the janitor at his office, Mr. Brozard, who gave them shelter in his attic for 3 weeks. Her mother cried in gratitude every night. Her father never forgot that kindness. She'd become a billionaire. Yes. But somewhere in that climb, she'd lost the heart of that story until now. The next morning, Elias expected to be fired. He gathered the little girl, prepared to apologize again, and was walking toward the front gate when a voice called out, "Where do you think you're going?" Vanessa stood on the patio in a gray robe, coffee in hand. Her hair was tied in a loose bun, eyes tired, but her voice was firm. I asked you a question, Elias." He turned confused. I thought you'd want us gone." She walked closer. Your granddaughter's name? Sophie, he said softly. She just turned 4. Vanessa nodded, paused. The guest suite downstairs, fresh linens, private bathroom. I want you both moved in there by noon. You'll be given a proper salary, not janitorial. It's a full-time caretaker for this house and for Sophie. Elias was speechless. I have 12 bedrooms, she said with a bitter smile. Not a single soul who gives me good night hugs. I think it's time that changed. His eyes welled. Miss L. Cleric, I don't know what to say. She looked at Sophie, now peeking shilly from behind his leg. Say you'll stay. From that day forward, everything changed. The cold mansion became a home. Sophie's laughter filled every room as Vanessa started coming home early, canceling unnecessary trips. The empire she had built no longer felt like chains. It felt like purpose. Elias never let a single floor go dusty again. But more importantly, he reminded Vanessa what truly mattered. Not numbers, not stock prices, but human connection, compassion. It's a kind of love that doesn't need an invitation to show up. It just does. One day at a company meeting, Vanessa stood before her executives. She pointed at Elias, standing quietly at the back with Sophie on his lap. You all want to know why our company is growing faster than ever? She said. It's because I finally remembered what built this place in the first place. Kindness, and I have these two? She smiled to thank for it. And the entire room stood and clapped for a janitor who simply loved his granddaughter and a CEO. Finally opened her heart. If this story brought a tear to your eye or warmed your heart, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Kind Heart Story. Every click supports us in sharing more beautiful, real, and inspiring stories like this one. See you in the next story.